How about a little hair of the dog? So as I mentioned in part 1 of this video, shake these every few hours. All that does is makes it go faster. I mean, you don't have to, but just keep in mind it's going to take a little bit longer for the flavors to get just right. So I'm going to start with the mildest flavor. That way I don't burn my tongue and not be able to taste anything with the garlic jalapeno. So let's try the cucumber. Probably don't need that much. We're just having a taste. It's not bad, but it could use some more time. Now this one says it has less vodka, and I know I put less of the ingredients in here, but there is less vodka, so it is probably going to infuse a lot faster. So this one's probably going to be ready for this one, and this is the mint rosemary. So let's try one of them. Actually, this may be ready. Let's see. And now we'll try this one. This one's definitely ready. Okay, so this one, gonna hold off on a little bit, as well as this one. But I think the smaller batch of the mint rosemary is ready to go. And now for the garlic jalapeno. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, that one's ready too. So, at least in this filming, I'm gonna take the ingredients out of these two and put them in the final bottles. Yeah, I'm a little hungover. Okay, I need to perk up a little bit, so I'm going to make some coffee, so just hold on a little bit. Alright, after I'm done with this, we'll start filming again. See you in a bit. Okay, I am much better now. So let's get this started. So what you're going to need is the funnel again, a strainer. I prefer the kind that is kind of a bowl shape. There are flat ones too, but this is much easier to catch the ingredients. And a container to pour into to separate the ingredients. On a website they suggested using cheesecloth or coffee filters to get any extra little sediments out of there. Chunks can get through the mesh here, but honestly a few little chunks, including jalapeno seeds, you know, to me it adds a little character, but some people prefer it just being really smooth. And the first time I did this, that's what I did, and honestly it's a lot more work, but you know, if you want something without any chunks, any little sediments, that's how you can do it. Now I've got a silicone bowl, and the reason this is better than just a plastic or glass or metal bowl is it's easier to pour with, but you can use any container really. Now like I mentioned, having a regular bottle makes it difficult to get the ingredients out. So that's why jars are easier to do this part. But like I said, I'm cheap. Something I've used in the past is a single chopstick to reach up there and pull stuff out. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to do the jalapeno garlic last because the flavors just hang around for a long time if you don't clean everything properly. So let's go ahead and do the smaller batch of the mint rosemary. The first part, really easy, just pour. And now for the hard part. Now you can do this in bigger containers, but keep in mind you want to use a container that is airtight, and the reason for that is alcohol can evaporate, and so you don't want the good stuff evaporating away while it's infusing. Alright, I'll take the label off this later. You don't have to take the label off, but that's just what I do. Now, like what I did with the jalapeno garlic and cooking with it, you can do the same with pretty much any of these ingredients. And of course, rinse. Alright, so now to bottle. Use the method I've shown before. Now, since I only have two hands and I have to use them to hold this and make the funnel or the spout, I'm not going to be able to pour quite as fast by leaving a gap. Actually, hey, there we go. Alright. Now, for those of you put off by the color, that's your loss, because this is just absolutely delicious. So, I mean, it'll last just as long as any alcohol would, which is forever. And, yeah, it's good stuff. It is just so fragrant. That's one of the best parts of the mint rosemary, is it's very fragrant along with being just really good on the tongue. Now the jalapeno garlic, it is also very fragrant, but in a different way. It'll clear your sinuses, and it's, oh, I love it though. Well, since this is a smaller batch that'll fit in a bottle of a batch that I made previously that I'm almost out of, so this is good timing that I made this video. I'm just going to pour this into the old batch. So I'm going to rinse these and then we'll get to bottling the jalapeno garlic. Alright, back to step one. Ooh, you can smell that. Oh, it's clears your sinuses. Sometimes shaking helps, sometimes it just jams a lot of things in the neck to block it up, but just keep using the different methods in tandem and eventually you'll get everything out of there. I must have learned from my past mistakes, because this is much easier than the last time I did this, because I think I cut them into bigger strips, and that's why it was hard to pull them out, but this time they're a lot smaller and a lot easier to just get out of the neck of the bottle. The jalapeno and garlic is so good to cook with that this is one I'm definitely keeping. of course, the easy process of bottling. I've got an older batch that is almost out as well, so I'm going to pour these together. Or at least as much as I can. Now notice these, I don't know if you can see, but this one's a little bit darker. It's actually, now I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of sediment in this older one, settled at the bottom, and that's the kind of stuff that you can get rid of with the cheesecloth or the coffee filters. If you shake it up, so something that's interesting is these are two slightly different colors, and that's just a difference between batches. You know, how much of an ingredient I used, and of course how long I infused each of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a taste test to kind of see the difference between the two. So this here is the older batch. Ooh, okay. This one is very spicy. Has a lot of upfront burn, but it's still very good. So let's see how the new batch compares. Now I did mix a little bit of the old batch into this one, so it'll change just slightly, but it was only a little bit. Okay. This new batch has a lot less upfront burn. It has a longer burn, but at a lower level, and a lot more flavor. And I'm pretty sure the difference between the two is I infused the older batch with more pepper for less time, and this new batch was less pepper over a longer period of time. Anyway, they're both very good. I love those. I love them. So between now and when I bottled these, I'm going to continue shaking them, and I'm going to clean all of my equipment because it's definitely got the jalapeno and garlic taste all over them. So if I put these into here and then bottle it, it's going to have a little bit of that spice within them, which actually might be good, but I prefer mixing them together on my own terms instead of it being permanently done. So anyway, I'll continue infusing these and then I'll finish off the filming later. So here's a selection of infusions I've done in the past, including the ones I've just done. Here's the old jalapeno garlic, the new jalapeno garlic. I've done cranberry and pineapple. What I did with the cranberries is I crushed them before putting them in, just to help release the juices. Orange, lemon, and I've also done orange, lemon, and lime, and that one was a lot more bitter than I prefer, so the orange lemon actually is a lot more balanced. It's not too bitter, and it's not too sweet either. So what I recommend is just using a sweet orange and a bitter lemon or a bitter lime. Don't mix orange, lemon, and lime because the bitterness tends to take over. Now this is one you are going to need a bigger container. And what I did for that was I took this meat thermometer, which has a spike, and what I did is I stabbed the oranges and lemons all over. That way the vodka could permeate the fruit, and I let that sit until, tasting it, it tasted just right. Something else I've heard of to do with citrus fruits is to take the skin, just take a peeler and take the skin off and put that alone in it, and I've heard that's very good. That's something I'll experiment with some other time. The old batch mixed with the new batch of mint rosemary, plus the bigger batch that I made just now, and the cucumber. So these are the things I've experimented with before, and I'm probably going to try some other things. Leave your suggestions, I'd like to hear them, and try it yourself at home. And like a dummy, I forgot about the habanero ginger I made. This one is different. Obviously being habanero, it's going to be a lot spicier, and also with the ginger being pretty spicy, but a very strong flavor, this is something that is pretty unusual. Yeah. It's good, but very powerful, so be warned. Yeah. Whew. And you may notice I'm using several different vodkas. My favorite by far is Tito's, but I've also used Sky vodka and 360 vodka. Drink responsibly. Yeah, I may have overdone the taste testing.